o'clock right now. Starting, honey.
Okay.
All right.
How do we see who's in the chat?
I'll show you that here in a moment, honey. Looks like we're live. Okay. All right. Hopefully people know that we're live and we're here. We wait till some people show up, if we get anybody.
That's all right.
We'll see what happens here in a few moments, hopefully. But yeah, we've just gone live for about 45 seconds now. What I'm trying to do is I'm trying to figure out how to do a scheduled event. That way we could schedule it ahead of time and people can know that it's going to happen and they can kind of plan for it. You know, that they're going to start at 7 o'clock. And then everybody can kind of like, okay, well, I'll make sure I get over there at 7 o'clock whenever it starts. And so that's what we're doing here. And we are live now. And this is our first attempt at doing the scheduled event. Because in the past, we would just do sporadic live events without telling anybody. And the crazy thing is people would just show up. So that was pretty good. But right now, I'm not seeing anybody showing up yet. Not seeing anybody in the chat. Hopefully we're actually live. It says we're live. It says we have a good stream status. And so all of that looks good. It says that health is good. Everything looks good there, it says. Okay. All right. Still nobody here. At least no one in the comments yet.
If you're there, leave us a comment so we know you're there.
Yeah.
Please.
Yeah. All right. Let's see here. All right. Well, we're just going to wait till people show up. Just because we also know this is being recorded for later. Let's just kind of like maybe go down the list of things that we're going to be talking about tonight. One, I guess I should say, is I know we weren't here last week, and that might have done us in. Oh, it looks like Two Cedars Micro Farm is here. All right, welcome. But yeah, I think last week not being here might have done us in because, you know, you need to do live streams on a regular basis so people know you're going to do it and,
consistent.
Be consistent. And we really want to be. We want to be consistent with that. But part of the things that we're going to talk about today could very well explain the reason why we weren't here last week. We weren't here last week for a very good reason. And let me see here. So today we're going to talk about, we had a YouTube facelift. We're going to talk about that. We're also going to talk about an emergency room visit. Visiting the emergency room, right? And then the last thing that we're basically going to talk about is the house update. Now, we might talk about a few things in between. That's the way live streams usually go. You got like, I want to talk about these topics. And you go to talk about those topics. The next thing you know, you got another topic and another topic and another topic.
Well,
and it just keeps on going. And it's good because,
get something started.
Yeah, it makes it a little bit dynamic and everything. But it makes it hard to keep to set topics when you do that. So I figure 3 topics. You don't need to see what's going on. It's
someone's down there talking to us. There we go.
Okay, London Worms and Garden.
Oh, hello.
Hey, how's it going? All right. But what I was going to try to say is that even though you might have set topics, there's always going to be other things you're going to talk about, and that's just the way it goes on a live stream. And that's all part of the interaction. You know, the best thing about a live stream is not just it's just a video, but it's also the live interaction. You get to ask questions. You get to interact with our story as we're telling it. So that makes it a little bit special. So we got that going so far. We're going up to 5 minutes now. Okay, we got Hoppy Sabbath Homestead. Welcome.
Welcome.
All right. So we got we got some people starting to come in.
That's good.
So that's good.
Come on in, make yourself welcome.
Yeah, so we're going to talk about those main things, and like I said, we'll probably talk about a few other things along the way. But again, just to reiterate a little bit, we're going to talk about our YouTube facelift. We're going to talk about the emergency room visit, and we're going to talk about what was the other thing, honey?
I don't know.
You don't know what the other thing is?
No.
A house update.
That's right, house update.
Our house update. So we're going to talk about that too. All right, so.
Everybody's saying hi to each other.
All right.
That's part of the fun of it too.
Okay. Does anyone want to volunteer to be a moderator? Anybody that's in there right now? I can deputize somebody.
We have one moderator, but they're not here tonight.
Okay. And if you were to accept the assignment, all you'd have to do is just keep an eye on things. Make sure people don't get out of hand and
No bad
start
comments. Yeah.
start cussing and doing really crazy things like that. And also,
Hey, Samson
Samson Farms is here.
Hey.
Welcome.
Hi, guys.
All right. So if you wanted to be a moderator, just kind of keep an eye on things, and also you'd be, asking people to click like and check out certain videos and things like that. Go to certain websites if we were to mention them. So there's just different things like that. It
Yes.
makes a good moderator.
Samson Farm. Thank you. Yes, we'd like to make you one. Thank you.
Okay. All right. We'll make Samson Farms a moderator. So deputize.
Oh, and Hoppy Sabbath.
Add moderator.
Hoppy Sabbath.
Okay.
said-
Samson Farms has now been deputized. And also the Hoppy Sabbath Homestead. Okay, we have 2 moderators. That's great.
Thank you.
All right, so now we have people here, and we also have a couple moderators. So a couple deputies in town. You got to watch out. Okay?
You're crazy.
All right, good evening, Karen Cantrell.
Hello.
All right. And, we do have a little bit of news to share. I guess the first thing we're going to share is we're going to start talking about our YouTube facelift. And if you haven't seen our page this week, it's actually changed the way it looks. I've changed the banner. We actually have an icon now. It's like a logo, so to speak. And we have that up and running. So maybe we look a little bit more spiffy. Right? A little bit more spiffy, possibly.
Hope
So that's one thing there. So if you check that out, we do have a new look on our YouTube, and that's important. I mean, we are looking to getting homesteading going, and do the gardening and the animals and things like that. But on top of all of that, we're also YouTube creators. So to be a good YouTube creator, it's good to have a good image, so that people come to your page and say, "Oh wow, these guys look like they have it kind of together." I mean, even if we don't have it together, it at least makes it look like we do. So that's really good. So, but we try to do the best we can on things.
Okay.
Say we have She Moved Mountains. Home.
Oh yeah.
Okay,
Hey.
so hello, welcome. All right.
Glad you came.
All right.
Okay.
So that was the first thing. So if you haven't had a chance to check that out when you get a chance. I worked a little bit on it. I think I spent an entire day working on the logo, and any kind of a logo, you want to pick something that kind of goes with what you're about, right? And we have the house on there, and the whole purpose of that house being on there is you may have seen us share this before in past videos, but our channel summed up mainly with one word, and that's the word edify. Now, the word edify originally means to build up a house. That's what the word edify means. It means to build up a house. right? And there's different ways you can build up a house. You can build up your physical house, which is your actual house and your land and your property and your homestead, your gardening, your animals, even your personal health, the things that you eat, exercise, things that you do. All of these things help to build up our physical house, right? And then there's another house that we can talk about is a house of knowledge, right? How we can be edified in knowledge. We can learn things. We can increase our skill. Our skill sets can be increased, get better skills, increase our knowledge, get better at doing things, get more proficient at doing things. So it's a building up of our house of knowledge. So that's another thing that symbolizes. And then, of course, spiritual, building up our house of faith, right? Our house of faith. So that's another thing that we like to stress on our channel is, we are born again Christians, and we love everyone. Just so you know, we love everyone. We love God. We love all people, and we just want to see the best things for everybody. And that's all part of building up that house of faith, house of spiritual well-being. So that's really what our channel is about, is the word edify, to build up a house. So that's why in the icon there's a picture of the house as the center of it. And then, of course, in the window, if you look really close, you'll see it has the cross in the window. That was intentional. And also, we have a chicken, right? Now, we are planning on getting chickens.
We don't have them yet, but soon.
Not yet, but we already have our plans. We're looking on getting some black Australorps for egg layers. And as far as the egg layers go, at least for now, I'm thinking about getting a little bit of a monoculture about it. And I have a reason for that. I'm wanting to be able to continue my egg layers and keep going. So if you get like 5 or 6 different varieties, it makes it more difficult to continue your own birds, to be more sustainable. It makes it more difficult, in my opinion. Other people do it fine, but I think for me, it'd be easier for me to pick one breed that we really like and continue that breed. So that way we have only Australorps, and we're going to keep that breed going.
Samson Farms said, and a rabbit.
Yeah, a rabbit logo is nice. We also are going to have rabbits. We've had rabbits in the past. We're going to continue to have rabbits. We love to eat rabbit meat. So we're going to do that. And getting back on the chickens just for a moment, that was the egg layers the black Australorps we're looking on getting. Another thing we're looking on getting is meat birds. And we want to probably start off with the Cornish cross. Mm-hmm. And I know not everybody likes the Cornish cross. We have no problems with them. Actually, we like the idea of bringing the chickens to maturity and getting them butchered as soon as possible, because as long as they're out there soaking up all of our feed that we're spending money on, they are a liability, an expense. Until we get them into the freezer, they continue to be a liability. Now, once we get them into the freezer, they become an asset. So that's the way I'm looking at the meat birds, is I'm looking at it from liability to asset. How much is it costing us to keep them? And how fast can we get them into the freezer to become an asset, something that we can utilize? So that's the way I'm looking at the meat birds. So we're probably going to go Cornish cross. So then we also have the rabbits on there. Just like before, we're going to do the New Zealand's. And we're still going to try to do the California New Zealand cross. And there's a lot of good reasons for that. Probably the main reason is that the offspring of a California New Zealand cross is a superior offspring. It's really a big rabbit. It matures quickly. Also with the New Zealand mothers, they can nurse more of them. So instead of having 8 in a kit of rabbits, you can have like 10 or 12 in a kit of rabbits. So they're very exceptional mothers when it comes to rabbits. So that's the reason why we want to go with that. And the California bucks are really good at their success rate for breeding. And they're both meaty, big rabbits. And when you combine them together, you get a really nice offspring for fryers to put in the freezer. So we're going to get in the rabbits. And then you notice that you should see another animal on there, which is the quail. The quarter-nicks quail. We are still desiring to get into them. The more videos we watch on quarter-nicks quail, the more encouraged we are because they come to maturity very quickly. They start laying eggs very quickly after the 6th week. Laying eggs after the 6th week. That's amazing. And they are smaller eggs, probably about that big, really small eggs. But you get enough of them and you got breakfast, right? And you can use them for baking. You can use them everything that you use chicken eggs for. You can use quail eggs for. So we're really excited getting into quail also. So we got the chickens coming, rabbits coming, quail coming. And you may also notice the 2 leaves off to the side. And that just symbolizes any vegetables that we would grow.
Wow.
And also any fruit trees or anything like that.
Hoppy Sabbath Homestead said that she has a New Zealand mini lop doe that has 13 kits at a time and feeds them 3 times a day. She's 15 pounds. That's a good doe.
Yeah.
That's a good doe.
Yeah, it really is good.
And she's able to raise them all up to
13 kits and 13 in a litter. That's really good. So yeah,
Should we go back and see?
That's why we like New Zealand. Let's go ahead and backtrack a little bit.
We're going to backtrack and make sure we didn't miss anybody's questions or anything.
Sure we have. I was kind of talking there for a while, and that just tends to happen. Okay, this is where I remember seeing.
Oh.
Okay. All right.
The new moderators, thank you. You guys are doing a really good job. And the Stivers have come, so thank you.
Thank you, London and Worms and Garden, for the comment on the banner. We really appreciate that. Okay.
We wanted to make it a little more personal.
Okay. Yeah, don't worry. Do you say the Stivers Homestead? Don't worry about that Stivers Homestead.
No, I didn't get a chance to.
Yeah, don't worry about being late or anything like that. We just deputized a bunch of people, and we're doing good. So, but welcome. Definitely welcome.
Well, this way you're not the only one, too. So
right.
If you do miss it, it's not a big deal.
Another thing I wanted to say real quick, now that we're talking about Stivers Homestead, is that they are having a seed swap in the, I think, Frankfurt area.
If you can share it, that'd be great.
Yeah, there's a seed swap happening April 14th, I believe. And, yeah, we are wanting to come there. We should have no problem coming. The only thing that would keep us from coming is maybe if we were closing our house on that day.
That's another part of that.
That'd probably be the only thing that would keep us from coming. But we are looking to show up for that on the 14th. Seed swap. We are looking forward to that ourselves. So stay tuned. Stay tuned to Stivers Homestead, to their channel, and look at their updates to find out when that's going to happen, where that's going to happen. And you don't want to miss that. Hopefully a lot of people will show up, share some seeds. They've got a bunch of seeds from Baker Creek. So that's going to be nice. So even if you don't have any seeds to share, just come and be with like-minded people, and, we can swap some seeds anyway. So just something I want to point people to on that. So let's see what else we got going here. All right. Okay.
Amen. I agree. Something about.
Okay.
With you, I love how faith-based.
Yes. Happy Sabbath Homestead. Yeah, I love it too. How faith-based themed homesteads. It does seem to be like a movement, doesn't it? And a lot of people like the homestead. And sometimes being believers and stuff, it can get to be where you're afraid to. I don't want to know I want to say if I'm a believer, because if I'm a believer, maybe my channel will get shut down, or maybe my monetization will be taken away,
or people will quit.
Right, and those are real concerns. I'm not going to say that they're not real concerns, but I think we can't hide who we are, right? If we believe in the Lord and we take our faith seriously, then we really shouldn't try to hide that. And really, I think YouTube, the whole idea I thought YouTube was about is to get to know people for who they are, to learn a little bit about their life, learn a little bit about their story. And everybody has a different story that they can contribute, that people can learn from. And, there's so many stories on YouTube, so many different types of people on YouTube. If you don't like a particular channel for a particular reason, nobody's forcing you to watch them, right? And there's a lot of channels that we do not watch because we don't agree with what they're portraying on their channel. And that's all part of the YouTube. That's all part of having the personal choice to view what you want to view. Mm-hmm. And so I don't see any problem there. But yeah, I really am encouraged that there seems to be a homesteading faith movement. And, we're right on sync with that.
Stiver said they have black Australopes. Do you like them? Do they lay well for you?
Yeah, they're supposed to be the best egg layers out there for a dual purpose. Now, I think the leghorns are better. They're better egg layers, but they're not very good when you have to butcher them for the meat. Okay. But my wife, you don't really like leghorns, do you?
I don't like leghorns.
She doesn't like. Why don't you like about them?
Well, they're flighty, and they're not friendly. And, I guess my friends have had all kinds, and I've had all kinds of chickens, and I've never had leghorns, but my friends who have had leghorns, they said they were very flighty, not friendly. They could actually be downright mean to the other chickens, too. And so I've just never really cared for them. And they're not really good for meat. I like a dual purpose chicken where I can actually butcher it and make some nice chicken and noodles with them. But they're very skinny and not much meat on them at all. Right. So. And
the primary reason we're going to have the black Australorps for is the egg laying. But just face it, every, about 3 or 4 years? After about 3 or 4 years, you're going to want to retire your egg layers.
2.5 to 3.
2.5 to 3 years, okay. You want to retire your egg layers, and you're going to want to put them in the freezer. And why not pick a bird that whenever you come to that point, you end up with a pretty good chicken to put in the freezer? That's my thinking. But our main meat bird would be the Cornish cross. And we're actually thinking about different things on that. Is, if you raise a Cornish cross to be, I believe, 3 weeks old, then you can butcher them for the Cornish game hens, right? So you get Cornish game hens at 3 months. And then if you let them go the complete 8 or 9, or 3 weeks, if you go to the full 8 or 9 weeks, then you can butcher them as a full-size chicken.
Go up a little bit, dear. So, Josh, someone said something about not being religious.
It's not. I don't want to.
No, that's fine.
This is kind of holding things up, honey.
Okay,
so that's like my thinking. In figure, even at the 8 or 9 weeks, the Cornish hens are going to be pretty juicy and very tender meat. With any animal, the younger you butcher them, the more tender their meat is typically going to be. The older they are, the more tough they're going to be. So whenever you got your egg layers, after you have it for 2.5, 3 years, sometimes 4 years, once you reach that level, they're older and they're going to be a lot tougher than the chickens that you butcher at 8 or 9 weeks old. That just makes sense. So we're going to be relying upon the Cornish cross for our meats for the most part, but we are selecting the black Australorp because it is a dual purpose. That whenever we do butcher them, we'll get the best chicken out of that butchering at that age that we can get.
I like laying hens for making homemade noodles with. I like an older hen. The first time I ever got to eat an older chicken that was older than I think Cornish crosses are about 8 weeks old when you butcher them, 8 to 10 weeks old, depending, I guess. And the meat is good and it's tender and everything, but the flavor isn't the same. The flavor is not as strong, okay? And so some neighbor of mine gave me some old roosters that were about 3 years old. And she gave them to me. I butchered them. I made soup out of them. And I think the first one, and she even had it butchered, and I used it. It was like a cross between turkey and chicken flavor. It was very strong, but not too strong. It was really, really nice flavor. Made the best chicken and noodles I've ever made with that chicken. So I like having a mixture of both. Meat chickens and your laying hens when it comes time to put them in freezer camp. I like them also for a nice big pot of chicken and noodles.
So that's what we're looking for. That's what our logo is all about. So I think we've described that pretty well. So now we're going to go on to the next topic. The reason why we were not doing a live stream last week. If you've been to our live streams before, you're probably wondering, it's Tuesday, and Micro Farm Starter hasn't done a live stream on Tuesday.
Hopefully they were thinking that.
Yeah, maybe. Well, I'm sure somebody did. I'm sure someone did.
Was thinking that.
But there's a reason why we weren't here last week, and that's where we come up to the emergency room visit. Yes, that's right, emergency room visit. I had to go to the emergency room, and I've been dealing with some things for a long time now, probably for the past 3 years. I've been dealing with some things, and I haven't quite identified it. Whenever I had health coverage through one of my past jobs, I went and did some blood tests. I had them check my heart. My heart is healthy. I've had them check my carotid artery. My carotid artery is clear. There's nothing blocking it. My cholesterol levels are fine. Everything is looking okay for the most part. There are a few things that they found, but nothing too serious. And we just haven't been able to figure out why I'm having these trouble. At one time I thought I knew what it was, but then I started thinking, well, now I think it's something else. And it went from just having brain fog and fatigue and just things like that of that nature for the most part. And that was the general symptoms at that time. But then they kind of worsened. And then I started seeing symptoms that were lining up, and I don't want to go through the whole list of them. There was quite a bit of additional symptoms I started having. And all of them seemed to be adding up to kidney disease. And I started thinking, well, maybe I've got kidney disease. Maybe my kidneys are about to shut down. I was even having aches and pains in my back, about midway up my back, where the kidneys are located. I was having aches and pains back there, especially last week. And anytime, I don't even know why I did it, but anytime I'd have any kind of sugar or anything like that, it would throw me into an episode. It threw me into an episode. I'll be like, it's like my brain is just like stopped working, But last weekend we had a iced coffee. I had this really big, sweet iced coffee, and it tasted great, right?
It's big. Got sick.
And then it made me sick. It made me extremely sick. My back started aching really bad, where my kidneys are located. I couldn't think. I couldn't move. And I got to the point that I couldn't even talk to my wife very well. And my wife was saying, do you think we should look at a doctor? And I was looking at her like thinking, I don't know what to say. I can't even get the words together. And then I said, well, if there's any time to go to the doctor, this is it. I try to put off going to the doctor when I can. But I got to the point, it's like, I don't know what else to do. We better go take a look at the doctor.
Oh, you were getting chills.
Yeah, I was getting
shaking.
Yeah, I was getting chills. I was shaking. I felt like my heart was beating faster. I had all kinds of things that was going on. And I was like, I better go see the doctor. So we went into the emergency room, and we were praying as we were going in. And we people that know us, our brothers and sisters in Christ, we reached out to them and asked them to pray for us. and all of that was happening on the way to the hospital and after we got to the hospital. And then we got checked in, and I felt like I was going to pass out. I felt like I don't know what's going to happen. If I passed out, I felt like I was going to die.
Mm-hmm.
And I really did. I really felt like I was dying. And just serious about that. I felt like it felt like my life was just fleeting away from me. It's what it felt like. And when we got there, I was like, oh, I need to see a doctor, and I was about to fall over. And they finally got someone, because they make you wait you go to the emergency room and you have to wait in the lobby, right? And
they did hurry up as soon as you said, I need someone now. They did come and get you.
I felt like I was about ready to keel over. And I was able to walk in, right? So I was able to do that. And they said, should you get it? They were asking me, the person who's having all these troubles, if I thought that I should have a wheelchair. Well, of course, someone who has brain fog and their brain's not working and they're barely conscious, of course they're going to make the wrong decision. So I said, oh, I think I might be able to make it. So I walked on in there, but they probably should have put me in a wheelchair. Anyway, we got into the room, and they saw us. I had some testing done, and we were praying the whole time. And then I started feeling better. Right? Started feeling better. Felt like I was pulling out of whatever it was I was falling into. I started pulling out. And then when the testing came back, they said that my kidneys were working fine. They said my liver is working fine.
No infection in your
They said they couldn't find it. The blood pressure looked fine. The only thing that they said that there was anything that was wrong is that I was very deficient in vitamin D.
I don't know if that would do that, though.
Well, I looked at it. There are some symptoms on there that I was exhibiting, but then there's some things on there that I was not exhibiting. And also there were some symptoms I was having that were not on that list. So because of that, since the vitamin D doesn't really seem to measure up all by itself, and they didn't find anything else wrong, I think that the Lord healed me.
I believe it.
That's what I think. Because I am tons better than I was last week.
He's never had any of those symptoms again.
Right. So I'm a lot better than I was last week. I think the Lord healed me. So that's what I'm going to believe.
Give him all the glory.
That's what I'm going to take from that. So that's why I was in the emergency room last week. I mean, I literally felt like I was going to die. And I'll put up with a lot.
He was telling me goodbye.
Yeah, I was telling her what I would want her to do if I were to die, if I were to pass on, things that I would want her to do after I'm gone. That's how serious it was. I mean, I could barely even speak. So, yeah, it was pretty serious. But I survived. Amen. So
you haven't had none of those symptoms.
I still have some issues going on, but I think the issues I'm having now are probably linked to the vitamin D deficiency.
Yeah. What they found.
Right, what they actually found. So the way I'm going to take it is I believe that the Lord healed me, and I'm going to take the testing that the doctors did as confirmation that the Lord healed me. Also, the fact that I'm not having the same symptoms that I was having last week.
It was like day and night.
Right.
He walked in there, barely could even make it in there, and walked out just fine.
Right.
Just a little bit tired. You were a little bit weak.
Right.
That's it.
But I mean, I rapidly recovered, and the next day I was totally different.
Fine.
Totally different. So that's why we weren't here last week. I was in the emergency room. I felt like I was just clinging on to life. I really did, and it's pretty crazy. So
we got some people saying.
Yeah, it was pretty scary. Wild and wonderful. I thank you for that. Yeah.
Yes, thank you.
It was very scary, and times like that. Those aren't times to fall apart and panic or anything like that. Those are the times that you want to reach out to the Lord even more and rely upon the Lord even more is during times like that. I mean, we should always want to rely upon the Lord every day, but especially whenever you're experiencing a trial like that, something traumatic like that, you should always reach out to the Lord even more than you normally do. So that's really, because that's where we find strength. That's where we find strength.
There's a lot of new people. Hey Hashkins.
Oh, Haskins Family Vlog, welcome. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was
God is good.
Yeah, it's pretty scary, and but yeah, I'm thankful also. I'm thankful unto the Lord that we're doing better, and also I'm not going to just take this as okay. Now that I'm feeling better, let's just go back to business as usual and do the things I used to do to make my health bad. No,
We're going to change some things.
yeah, we're changing some things. What we can afford, because we are we're poor.
Until the house is sold.
Right. We are of little means, so we can't afford to go to these stores to pay the amount of money that you need to pay for organic produce and grass-fed animals and things like that. We're still having to be frugal, but we are going to be growing our own vegetables this year. We're going to be getting into some of these animals for meat sources. So by doing these things, I'm hoping to get the healthy quality food in an affordable way. We just have to put in the work.
We got the seedlings started, so
right. We got the seedlings going, and they're going really well.
I got a bunch of seeds to go straight into the ground: lettuces and Swiss chards and all kinds of things. Yeah.
Oh yeah, so there's still some things coming, but yeah, we really need to try to focus on eating healthier, also exercise, and the good thing about growing your own food is it gives you something to do to keep your blood pumping. It gives you some exercise to do. Plus, I also have an exercise Bowflex. I have one of those, and I'm going to start using that. We have some dumbbells, so I'm going to get myself back into being physically fit and build up the physical house, edify physically, and I want to try to make this. I'm going to try to make this life last as long as I can, Lord willing. You know.
They said they heard that.
Oh, God healed me. Yeah, I was.
Praise God, yes.
Yeah, I was in the emergency room. I felt like I was dying. I was convinced I had kidney disease, and then just from praying and our friends praying for us, seeking the Lord, it changed just like that. It changed just like that.
I was concerned, and I didn't want to think about it, that it could have been something that could have took you that night, but but I believe the Lord gave me peace the whole time, so I had peace.
Amen.
Yeah, the Lord gave me peace.
So I mean that's important. So far we talked about the emergency room, and we talked about that.
The logo.
We talked the logo. We talked about the logo. Talked about that. So now.
Yeah.
We're going to start talking about the house update.
Yes.
If you've been following our channel,
Amen.
Yeah, amen.
God is a healer.
Amen. If you've been following our channel and you've been following our story, one of the major things that we're dealing with financially is selling our property. We have two properties. We have a property that we're living on now. It's a 1 acre with a mobile home on it. And this is where we're going to start homesteading. It's where we're going to begin here. Just do what we can while we're here. And then we have another piece of property that we used to live in that was 0.6 acres, big 5-bedroom, fancy house. Probably the fanciest house that either one of us has ever lived in our whole life.
It's not like a huge mansion, but it was
it was fancy for us.
Yeah, very fancy for us.
Very fancy for us. So, but
Amish.
Yeah, Amish cabinets.
Handmade
Amish. Handmade Amish cabinets.
Yep.
It's pretty nice, you know. But it was more than what we could afford, right? We couldn't afford the payments, and it was holding us back. It was like this huge weight on my shoulders. I mean, really.
Major.
In order to get by, I have to make at least $15 to $16 an hour just to barely make it. Just to barely make it. And some places that might not seem like a lot of money. But here in South Central Kentucky, that's a good living. That's a living that you shouldn't just be barely making it at $15 or $16 an hour. Actually, at one point, I was making $18 an hour. And we were actually doing good at $18 an hour. But
that's when your health started going down.
I went from $18 an hour down to $15 an hour. Then I went from $15 an hour down to $10 an hour, right? And then now I'm basically at $12 an hour. So I'm actually not making enough money to survive. I'm not making enough.
The Lord provides.
Yeah, the Lord provides.
The Lord provides.
But the only reason why I'm sharing all this information, I know most people don't like to share information like this. I'm just trying to paint a picture so you understand what we're going through, that you're on the same page that we are on. We are hemorrhaging. Our bills are getting bigger and bigger. We are in a nosedive financially. We're going down, 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 down. And the longer this goes on, the worse that it gets. Right? So I must make sure that you understand that picture. Now, let's talk about the house a little bit. We put the house on the market almost 6 months ago. And we put it on the market almost 6 months ago. And we got our first showing the last 2 weeks of December. And we had our first showing the last couple weeks of December. And the people that were in that showing made the first offer that we got on the house, right? So then we started dealing with them, and we've been negotiating with them ever since. Now, it's going on about 4 months. And if you've ever sold a house or ever bought a house, you should know that it should never take 4 months to close on a deal.
Our realtor is so afraid we're going to back out of it.
Yeah. I realized, you'll be okay. Hang in there. Hang in there.
I can see the end of the light at the end of the tunnel. We're almost there.
Yeah, he's trying to be a cheerleader. He's like, don't back out. Don't back out. Right? Not that we really need that. We don't really need that.
We don't need that, but he felt like it.
We've been trusting in the Lord, and everything that I've done, I've been praying about, and the Lord's been leading me to just wait and to see. And we know that when our house gets sold, it's Him that does it. Because there's so many things that would have been a deal breaker that would have caused the whole thing to fall apart, and it didn't. And it did not fall apart.
Yeah, serious things.
They wanted us to make some improvements so that they could pass their financing. But we didn't have any money. So I was like, well, how much could it be? $5,000, $6,000? It doesn't matter. I don't have it. So he's like, well, I'm sorry. We don't have any money. We can't do the repairs. So that should have been a deal breaker when we said we didn't have the money to fix the repairs on the house.
Yeah.
That should have been a deal breaker, right? But it wasn't. The buyers decided to pay for it. But the buyers didn't have any money either. It was able to come from the bank. So it was coming from their mortgage that was going to pay for it.
Got it appraisal done
Right.
for a bigger amount, and
So
now they're getting it.
Yeah, I'm not going to, I'm not going to share too much information. There is a line of confidentiality we have to not cross.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm just letting you know some of the things that's been going on during this past 4 months where this deal was going to fly apart. And today we just got over another hurdle. We passed the appraisal. So it actually appraises for a high enough amount so that they can make the numbers work. So that's really good. And we just got that news today. So we are on track. All they're going to do now is they're going to do a title search. And once they finish the title search, we should be getting a closing date fairly soon.
The Hashkin family, they said years ago, my husband had his pay cut in half. Mm-hmm. And it was one of the scariest things we have ever gone through. Oh,
right.
But you just got to keep leaning on Jesus.
They've never went without. Amen.
Amen.
And we've noticed the same thing. Even though we don't have enough money to get by, somehow we're juggling it, and we haven't gone without.
He has to have the internet and the phones turned on to keep working the job he's working right now. And every time it'd be due for that bill, something would come up, and
we would sell something.
Yeah, something.
We've been trying to sell things. We sold a couple heaters, those infrared laser heaters. Yeah, we sold a couple of those. Yeah. We had one that looked like a fireplace, and it was an infrared laser heater fireplace. We sold that. But sold a couple other things. We sold a washer and dryer.
I sold some of my antiques.
Yeah, sold a few antiques. So we've been selling things, just trying to stay afloat.
And the Lord's been making it. Every time we'd have a bill, the next day something would sell quickly, very quickly, and then we'd have the money again.
So, and we still have to endure. I still have to come up with another mortgage payment. because we're not going to close until after my mortgage payment comes due. So I'm going to have to go ahead and pay the mortgage payment, and hopefully we'll make it through a couple more round of bills. But that's still in the future. But I think we're going to make it. We are actually seeing the light at the end of the tunnel. Like I said, all we have to do is get through the title search, which we have no part in that. Basically, this makes sure that there's no other liens on the house, and there shouldn't be because we just bought the house a couple years ago.
No, there's no liens.
There hasn't had anything happen to the house while we've owned it, so I don't
Our
see
taxes are paid.
Yeah, I don't see any problems in that at all. So whenever that passes the title search, then we'll have a closing day. The realtor told us today that once it passes the title search, then it'll be another 2 weeks for the closing day after they get
They're
that.
kind of guessing like the middle of April.
Yeah, middle of April is what we're shooting at. So hopefully, I'm actually hoping it'll happen before then.
Me too.
I'm going to push for before then. If they say, well, we can close anytime in the next 2 weeks, I'll say, let's close tomorrow. Right? That's what I'm going to be pushing for, because I need to be set free from this house. I need to be set free from it.
Yep.
And once we get set free from that, the whole world changes for us. Everything changes.
Everything changes.
Like right now, let me see. Do I have it? Yeah. This right here, this is the bulk of my camera equipment for my channel, right? I don't have a fancy camera. I don't have anything like that. This is my camera equipment, right?
It's been doing good.
And it's been doing good.
It's been doing good.
We've been putting out some pretty good quality videos for a cell phone.
Happy with it, yeah.
Not bad. And my wife has the exact same model of cell phone. So if I'm not using this one, I'm using hers. Either this one or hers. But it's the same exact one. It's a ZTE. I think it's a pretty good cell phone. But that's what we've been using for our video. So we don't have anything special for that yet.
Amen.
But, we get those checks come in and we get caught up on our bills. And now we don't have to pay that mortgage payment anymore. There's a couple other bills we don't have to pay anymore after this happens. That's just going to make it easy. It's going to make it reasonable. So then maybe I'll save up for a serious camera and get that going.
They said, wild and wonderful.
Right. Yeah, we don't need to understand the hows and whys. We just need to know that he will.
Amen.
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 We need to keep our eyes on him. Amen.
Right.
Not look for around.
But, I think it's fascinating that after things play out, and, when you get to look back and see everything that the Lord did, that's fascinating. When you find out how it actually turned out. Wow, this is how the Lord did that, and this is how the Lord did that. That's amazing.
So many people are using their phones for their videos.
Yeah. Well, you start with what you got,
Welcome
right?
to the club.
Yeah, you start with what you got.
Amen.
But yeah, I am looking forward to getting what are those drones? I'd like to send one of those up in the air and do a drone. That'd be nice.
Oh dear.
I could use a drone. I could use one of those. And also those I guess the Canon XLR cameras. Ooh.
Watch out.
Yeah, watch out. If I get a Canon XLR, I can only imagine what I could do with that thing. I could probably come up with some really neat looking videos. So
yeah, look out.
Yeah, so we're looking for that. So yeah, and our goal financially is we want to one day be debt free. That's what we want. That's what we're hoping to get. Yeah, we got the Pemberley Farm Homestead.
Hello.
Welcome, Pemberley Farm Homestead. All right.
Faithful Field Homestead.
And
hello.
Just I'm sure everybody knows this, but if you see like another YouTube channel on here, like the Pemberley Farm Homestead, they look like they might be a YouTube channel. When you get a chance, check them out.
Yes.
And find out more about their story and watch their videos. That's what we do.
It's what we do.
If we go to a live feed, if we spot someone, hey, they look like they might be another homesteading YouTube channel, and we go right over there, and we check them out, we watch their videos, we subscribe.
Yep.
If we like what they put out, we hit the little like button on the videos and stuff like that. So that really helps out. All those things help out.
I've been doing that a lot.
So just want to encourage everyone to do that.
Yes.
So looks like Sampson Farms got an external mic and new tripod, but still the camera's on the phone. Right.
City Stead said they have already did that with Sampson Farms.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's good. And actually, since Samson Farms brought it up, I have been looking at a special external microphone that looks like a Rode microphone. It's the long, what do they call those?
The bullet?
No, it's shotgun mic. And there's a shotgun mic that works with cell phones. It looks like it's really good. And I'm also going to get this little rig that whenever I hook it up, it's like a stick that comes down, and it's got a place where the microphone connects to it. It all holds together, and you just hold it around like this and move it around. And I'm hoping to get a setup like that. It's a lot more reasonable than buying a Canon XLR. A Canon XLR is anywhere between $800 to $900 all by itself.
Woo!
Yeah, and that doesn't count the lenses that you need to get. That doesn't count the external mic. That doesn't count the everything else that you use with that camera. That's just the camera alone. But I looked on Amazon, and I found a little rig that if I put it together with my cell phone,
do a video on it.
Yeah, I can maybe do a video on it.
Yeah.
But once I get all that together, it's going to make my videos sound a lot better.
He hates the wind sound.
Yeah,
when we're outside, he hates the wind sound.
Yeah, the wind sound, I don't really care for it.
He hates that.
But if you have an external microphone, you can put what's called a dead cat on there, and that cuts down the wind noise quite a bit. Makes your quality much better. So I estimated that's probably about $150 for that whole setup. About $150. So that's pretty good. If you can spend $150 to dramatically change your quality like that, that's a pretty good step. So that's probably the next step we're going to make as far as our camera equipment is just make our cell phone work better. That's what we're kind of looking for.
The Haskins family.
The Haskins family vlog.
Yep.
Okay. Okay. I forgot to tag us in our last video. All right.
Okay, it's all right.
That's
Thank
fine.
you. Thank you for thinking about us now.
Yeah. Thanks for thinking about us. That's good. And we understand everybody's busy. We all, we got a homestead to run. We got projects we need to plan.
Seedlings, the transplant. Spring
is almost upon us, and things need to happen. We need to get things in the ground, and plus all along trying to, I got to turn on this video camera and I got to record some of these things as they're happening. We all have our hands full, so I definitely understand that. So, all right.
Same here.
So,
they love and love that you support that Stivers community.
Right. Okay. So, those are the things that we basically want to share today. As we wanted to share that we have a new logo and a new banner and everything, so our channel looks a lot snazzier.
I've been kind of asking him to do the logo for a while.
Yeah, the old logo, I just slapped it together in like 10 minutes.
It was just a picture. No, the icon.
I put Micro Farm Starter and I put a text across it.
And then
it only took me about 10 minutes to throw that together. But
and then the icon was.
Yeah, but what I have on there now.
Yeah, sorry.
I spent an entire day putting it together. I spent a whole day meticulously working on it all day long until I got it exactly the way I wanted it to look.
And then with the logo.
And the logo and everything. The logo itself took almost the entire day.
Yeah.
So
that's my favorite part. I like that.
Right. So I spent a lot of time on that. So now it actually looks intentional. I'm a lot more intentional with it now. Before it was just slapped together. And I admit that. But yeah, we're just trying to make things look nice. And we always like to see things nicely packaged. And that is important. We might not think it's important, but it is important. So yeah, hopefully
we're excited about that.
Yeah, we are excited about it. We think it looks a lot better.
Yeah.
So we have the logo and the new Facebook banner. So that looks really nice. We also talked about the emergency room visit.
Thank you.
And how we believe the Lord really helped me through that. I don't believe I could have made it through that because I felt like I was clinging on the life. I felt like it was nothing I could do. It felt like I was just bleeding out of me. I didn't think I was going to make it. I thought I was going to have a heart attack. I thought I was going to die. I thought it was going to be all over. But it just like that, it turned around. And then now I'm just, it's like night and day. Now, I'm still having issues. So I think the Lord's left a few things in place that as a challenge. Sometimes the Lord gives us challenges and things that we have to take
Push
seriously.
through.
Push through and take
Yep.
seriously. So we are still going to do everything we can to improve our health with the food that we're eating, with our activity, keeping ourselves busy and not sitting so much, and getting out and getting things done.
Let's see if they have any last questions before we go.
Yeah. If anybody has any good questions?
Any questions at all before we go? Because we only got about another 5-10 minutes.
All right.
We know other people
Wild
are
and Wonderful says, we've been longing for spring, but have so much to do when it arrives and actually stays. Yes.
Isn't that always the way it is, huh? We can't wait for it to get here, but when it gets here, it kind of like, overwhelms us.
Yeah, I had that feeling just earlier today. I was looking at our seed starters. I was like, man, these things are getting so big. We're going to have to get them out in the raised bed soon. And I don't have any soil for the raised bed. And I don't even have any raised beds built yet. So it's going to be crunch time when it comes to putting them in the raised beds. And you kind of feel a little bit of pressure whenever that starts to happen. So I can understand that. All right.
Did anybody ask a question?
Yeah.
Bobcat. Browncoat's here. Hey, Browncoat.
Okay, looks like Stivers Homestead. What seeds did we start? Yeah, we had it in another video. We started Mortgage Lifter tomatoes, Gold Medal tomatoes.
They did wonderful. They were 5-year-old seeds, not even refrigerated.
Right, they're heirloom. And we also have some
peppers.
Bell peppers. I think the orange bell peppers.
Orange bell peppers, yep.
And we also have some, what do you call it? The
Poblano.
Well,
By its arc.
It's kind of funny. You don't start off calling them poblano. They end up calling them poblano in the end, but they call them something else. Starts with an A. Anchio peppers.
Anchios, yeah.
Yeah, they're anchio peppers. Oh, someone's calling me. Who is that? Oh, it says scam likely, so I'm not going to answer that. I'm not going to answer the scam call.
Okay.
But anyway, yeah, the anchio peppers, and for some reason they start off calling them anchios, and then whenever you harvest them, they call them poblano.
When you harvest them brown, they're poblano. When you harvest them green, they're anchio.
Oh, is that what it is?
Yeah.
Okay, that's what it is.
I was reading into it a little
So
bit.
right now it's no poblano.
Nope.
No poblano. Anchio. So we got those going. We also have the what do you call it? Broccoli. We got broccoli started. We have celery started, and we have some cauliflower started. And is that all of it, honey? Did I leave anything out?
Cabbages.
Cabbages. We got a lot of cabbages.
And you said broccoli and
Yeah.
cauliflower. Okay.
Broccoli, cauliflower.
Oh, celery.
Celery. Yep.
Okay. That's
Okay.
it.
We're
Got
repeating
it.
ourselves.
And
that's everything we got started.
Families asked us a question, and then she gave us a funny face because you're silly.
Oh, okay. Okay, it says here, are you guys going to the shindig? I can't even remember.
That's the one out in Arkansas.
When is that anyway, the shindig?
That's in April.
Yeah, we're probably not going to make it to the shindig. The thing in April that we're shooting for is we're shooting for the seed swap with the Stivers Homestead. So that's what we're shooting for in April is the seed swap, mainly because it's so close by. It's only a couple hours away. We think we can make it. So we're going to go to the seed swap. Another thing we're going to be shooting for is Baker Creek.
Yep. No, I am excited about that.
Yeah, we want to shoot for Baker Creek.
And the sweet sauce.
Yeah, we want to try to make it there to the Baker Creek also. And then after that, we're going to try to make it to the, what is it called? Homesteading Life Conference put on by
Doug and Stacy.
Off Grid with Doug and Stacy.
Yep.
So Off Grid with Doug and Stacy are doing a conference. This will be the second conference. We were at the conference last year on their very first conference. We were there. And it was a great conference, had a really good turnout, really good speakers, a lot of really good topics. We didn't get a chance to sit in on any of them, but we heard conversations coming out from those conferences.
I was face painting.
Yeah, we were barely there.
I was face painting. And
we were barely there. We were just trying to earn enough money to pay for the trip. And
we got to meet a lot of people.
Yeah, we got to
meet. You got to interview.
Yeah, I got some good interviews.
You got some good interviews.
Yeah, so yeah, we got some videos on that. I got to interview Off Grid with Doug and Stacy. I got to interview Mike Dixon from the Fit Farmer. I got to interview him. I got to interview, I think his name's Dwayne from Two Family Homestead. Got to interview him. Then also interviewed the vendors. So got a lot of good interviews while I was there. So it was a really good time. The Homesteading Life Conference in Hannibal, Missouri in August.
And what's the last one we might try to go for?
Yeah, and we're definitely going to be trying for the Homesteaders of America conference in Virginia, Front Royal, Virginia. In October.
I'm excited about that one.
So those are the ones that are on our radar. And we would encourage you, if you see any homesteading conferences that you're able to make it to, even ones that we haven't mentioned, then we'd like to encourage you to go. I mean, we really wanted to go to the gathering that Stivers Homestead went to the gathering down at the Deep South Homestead in Mississippi, Louisiana area. We wanted to go, but we couldn't make it. We just couldn't make it. We're still struggling right now, so we weren't able to make it. But yeah, we really wanted to go to that. But if you can find a good homesteading conference, I'd encourage you to go, and you're going to have a lot of good conversations with people. You get to see the people who are running the YouTube channels that you watch, and we think that's kind of neat. Right?
It was crazy when we went to Doug and Stacy's. I was like, okay, I'm going to see Doug and Stacy. That's going to be weird. That's going to be really strange. And but it wasn't that big a deal. And Doug is very bigger than life kind of person. His personality is really big. But who I really enjoyed getting to meet was the Dixons.
Right.
Lacey and her husband.
Mike Dixon.
Mike.
I just said his name a while ago.
I know that, honey. My brain. I got the brain fog now. He gave it to me. Anyways, I really enjoyed meeting them.
Right. And what we found with the people running these YouTube channels, just like we are, very approachable. Very approachable. You can just go up and talk to them, have regular.
I watch your channel.
Yeah, regular conversations, and we're all real people, and I think that's what makes our community very unique. Is that we're not just out there performing and trying to put out this content or come up with these characters. This is who we are. This is who we are, and we're putting it out there for everyone to enjoy and to share with them. And it's real life. It really is real life. So I think it's really, really good thing.
Faithful Field said that Faithful Field Homestead said we will be at the Homesteaders of America. Well, maybe we'll get to see each other.
Yeah,
you come over and say hi, or if I see you.
Yeah, it'd be nice.
Yes. If you guys, any of you go, please. Are we going to have a booth again this year? Or?
At the Homesteaders of America, probably not. And the reason why we're not going to have a booth is hopefully we'll be financially stable enough to actually pay for a ticket and just go. Because we want to be able to sit listen to the talks. When you're running a booth, you don't really get to go to all the talks. You have to stay out by your booth because some people might go to some talks, but not to all of the talks. And there's always someone walking around. And when you're running a booth and you're hoping to sell things, you want to be available for whoever wants to come by. So we didn't really get to see much of the talks.
No.
I saw more than she did.
I was face painting.
I got to sneak around and stand and listen to some of the talks.
Go ahead, sorry.
But she didn't get to see any of them hardly.
I really enjoy face painting children and making them happy, and we got to meet Roots and Refuge.
Yeah, Roots and Refuge. We met Roots and Refuge.
I got to meet them because they brought their children over.
Right. I actually got to meet Mike Dixon again from Fit Farmer.
And
also
M.I. Gardner.
Right. I also got to meet Justin Rhodes. I got to meet him. My wife got to meet his wife. What's his wife's name?
Who?
Justin Rhodes.
Rebecca
Rhodes. So my wife got to meet her.
I got to meet her. She was very nice. Very nice.
I got to meet Jason from Sow the Land. I
really like their channel. I enjoyed their Christians also. And what I like about is going to Christian sites. And I like other people's sites. But, I don't... Foul language. I really don't care for it. I don't. It really bothers
Yeah,
me.
we're really rated G kind of people.
Yeah, and so it's not that I hate anyone or anything. It's just it just bothers me. And so I know with them, I know there's not going to be no cussing. I really enjoy
Right,
and
right.
also their content. I really love their content.
Yeah, we're like good wholesome content.
Yep.
But anyway, not a really good channels that were there. We didn't even meet all the channels that were there. There were a few channels that were there that we didn't even meet. So it was really kind of crazy. There's how many people there at the Homesteaders of America. That's probably like the biggest one you can go to. I would say. But if I were going to rate like second place, I would say that the Off Grid and Doug and Stacy could be second place to that, because I can see that one continuing to grow.
Oh yeah.
I can see that one getting bigger and bigger and bigger.
If you go though, get your tickets for the paddle boat ride
Ahead of time.
Ahead of time.
Yeah, they've only got limited space.
Doug's talking about getting the whole boat this time.
Yeah, but still it's going to be limited space, because
Absolutely.
if you got more people at the place than you can fit on the boat, then
yeah, you don't want to miss out.
Only the people who have their places reserved are going to get on the boat. So
yeah, you don't want to miss out. That we missed out, so we're not going to miss out next time.
All right, well, I think we've gone over a little bit.
Yep.
It's about 5 minutes after the
Sorry,
hour.
guys.
So hopefully you guys got a lot out of this. We like to give good updates. Hopefully we'll be better prepared for updates next week, and maybe we'll have a couple interesting things to really share, and hope to see you back. Now I actually figured out, this is the first show that I actually figured out how to schedule the event, have a scheduled event show ahead of time. So we're going to start scheduling these events ahead of time, 7 p.m. Central Time, 7 p.m. Central. We're going to have our live feed every Tuesday, 7 p.m. Central. So we're going to make this a regular broadcast and do this every Tuesday night, 7 p.m. Central Time. And I'm going to schedule that event and get that going now that I figured out how to make it work. So thank you for coming. And, just like we've been talking about this whole video, we need to edify. We need to build up our house, our physical house, our mental house with our knowledge, and also spiritually speaking, our house of faith. And we believe that if you do that, you'll be successful in everything that you do. Thank you for coming, and have a good night.